Hello crafters, today I'm going to be showing you 5 ways to use intricate background dyes, and lots of companies are coming out with them and they're so beautiful. The one I'm using today is actually from Ducrafts and it's called A Little Birdie and it's part of their X-Cut collection. This comes on a magnetic sheet, so it's very efficient storage, and you also have two little sentiment banners that you can stick on separately. I didn't do that today, but it's obviously something you can do, and it really stretches out the dyes in new ways. And today I'm just going to be cutting this out from normal paper. I did that 5 times just for all of my cards, and I'm using my Big Shot, and I'm so sorry for the really awkward position. I just didn't want my hands to get in the way too much, and I love using felt so I get the right tension on my die cutting machine. And anyway, today I'm going to be using a Ducrafts paper collection. This is Capsule Elements Wood, and I really recommend getting something that isn't too busy in the background, just because two intricate things don't look too good together. And trying to get something dark if you're using white as well. I chose this and it's pretty dark and I really do like it. And anyway, I just stuck that onto my card panel, and now I'm going to be sticking my die cut panel onto it, and I'm just using normal double-sided tape, and this is the first card. For my second card, I'm going to be cutting out the birds on this card and using them on a totally different card without the rest of the panel. This really does make the die so much more versatile, and I'm just using an X-Acto knife for this and trying to make the birds as bird-like as possible. And I tried not to add any of the flowers. Like, I try to cut off all the flowers from it and try to keep their tails as natural as possible. It kind of blended in with it, but I cut it off. And now I'm just taking an old piece of cardboard. This is a bit of cereal box, and I'm just putting some double-sided tape on it and putting it onto my jumper so it collects the lint, and then I'm sticking down the birds, and I'm going to be using my Ducrafts embossing ink, and I'm just going to be stamping that all over my birds. And then I'm going to be using some Ducrafts gold embossing powder on this, and this is just so I don't burn my hands off while I'm embossing it. And then I'm going to heat it with my heat tool. To make the background for this card, I'm just going to take a piece of watercolor paper and then going to wet it with some water and a very big brush. Then I'm taking some Ducrafts Artiste watercolor markers on my acrylic block. These are in blue and green shades, and I just scribbled that on, and I'm going to use that as a bit of a palette, and I'm just going to put it all over the background. And I'm not really trying to blend it or anything, just trying to get as much colour on there as possible and trying to build up the intensity. And I also had some extra left, and I just spritzed some water on that and I put it on, and I liked that effect so much that I decided to do it with all of the cards. So I'm taking darker shades of the Ducrafts Artiste watercolor markers this time and putting that all over my acrylic block. This is a big acrylic block, and then I'm going to lightly spritz that with water, and I'm just going to stamp that onto my card, and then I'm going to dry it with my heat tool. So now you can see my background and the birds gold embossed, and I really wanted my birds to have a bit of a branch to perch on, so I decided to cut one out myself using the same Capsule Elements paper, and this time I chose a really dark wood grain pattern, and I'm just trying to make it as branch-like as possible. It kind of turned out like a hand in the end, but you know, it was fine. So I'm just going to stick that down with some double-sided tape, and I'm putting it along the middle of my card. And I'm just trying to get all of the branches stuck down so they don't kind of fold over. Now that that is stuck down, I'm just going to stick down my birds with some foam tape, and this is my card. For the next card, I'm going to be doing the same stamping down with the Ducrafts watercolor markers, and this time I'm using really green shades. There's a lot of them in the pack I have, so I really use them all, and I'm just kind of making a bit of a random background. You really don't see it in the end, and I'm just going to spritz that again and then stamp that down onto the same watercolor paper that I used before. and I used a lot of water this time, but as I went I used less and less water, and I obviously heat set it each time. And now I'm going to be using my Ducrafts dye, and I'm just sticking that down with some washi tape, and I really try to center it as much as possible, and it does cut watercolor paper, which is great. I put some felt between it so the tension would be right, and I obviously had to pick out everything. And now I'm going to use some foam tape to stick it down, and I'm going to be sticking it onto a white background, and it really does strike. And the one on the right is with a pattern background, watercolor background, and a white die cut out. For the next card, I'm going to be using all my Pro markers and some Tiger Twin markers, and I'm just going to be colouring in the birds and everything, the branches and the flowers. And I'm just going to start off by colouring the first bird in grey and then the other one in brown. I don't really know how birds are coloured, but look, it's my card, my colours. And I'm just going to try and really make it pop, so I really put a lot of colours into this. And I'm going to be using a gold gel pen just to go over the little letters, and it really did make it pop. And this is the finished card, and I really do like it. The next card I made a long time ago, and this card has a fold panel, so it's kind of like a trifold card, and it opens up to reveal a scenery. And I'm not going to show it in this video because I already did it. If you want to find it, I'll card it and it'll be linked down below in this description box. So those are my 5 cards. I hope you liked this. If you did, please give it a big thumbs up, subscribe, and comment down below. And thanks so much for watching. And bye!